Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV, powered by the one and only Stage Front VIP with the one and only Showtime. Shawn Porter, Showtime. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm great. You the only one approached me with something that I knew was worth my time, for the sake of words, man. Not no disrespect to anybody else here, but I think that when you talk about the significance of this fight,
Absolutely.
that to me,
And this fight being Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis.
that should be talked about more than the fight. The fight's gonna sell. The fight's gonna do what it's gonna do. But if you talk about the significance of this fight, people who may not know about this fight, it gets them interested. People who know about this fight but don't understand the degree of this fight, gets them more and more interested. You know what I mean? So this fight is going to sell because both of these young men are amazing athletes and because they have the followings that they have. And I think everybody expects this fight to do big numbers because of that. But what I don't want to happen is I don't want people who are not avid boxing fans to look at this fight and then go away. So what you have to do is you have to do interviews and give people a reason to want to continue to watch, even though these two aren't the ones you're going to be watching next week. It's great boxing on like weekly now, and competitive fights, really good athletes in the ring, and I don't think this sport gets enough recognition. It's because I think that people don't talk about the significance of the fights more they should. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Showtime, when we start talking about significance, there are no belts at stake. There's nothing at stake significant in the layman's eyes for 135, but in the annals of boxing and in the eyes of boxing, what does this fight mean when we start talking about two young guys in their prime, such as these? These are two special talents. Tank Davis probably being a generational talent. Ryan Garcia, we know what he brings to the table.
Right behind him.
Does this fight do for boxing what, let's say, Leonard versus Hearns did for boxing when in 1980, 1981?
I think the boxing world, the business of boxing, should be saying, uh-oh. Because for the first time in a long time, you got an extremely big fight getting in the ring, and there's no belts being displayed. What the fighters need to be looking at is, if I take on the big challenge, I will reap the benefits. Whether I win, lose, draw, if I go out there and do what I'm supposed to do, it's going to be a great night. People will be entertained, and they'll want to see me again, with or without a belt. And I think that that's the main thing about this fight. Again, you talk about the significance of it. I mean, look how big this fight is, and there's no championship titles on the line. Told to me by TV, we want a belt in the ring every time there's a fight, because people may not understand who's in the ring, but they understand those belts. And so you want that kind of trinket going, being toted around, so that people that don't watch boxing, even if they don't watch boxing, they don't understand. But they understand both fighters are undefeated, but they don't know both fighters aren't world champions. You know what I mean? So I think that this is going to send a message to the business of boxing that, hey, these fighters don't need a belt to be seen, and these fighters don't need a belt to sell tickets.
How much respect do you have for both fighters taking each other on at this stage in their career with so much to lose for both of them? A loss for either one of them may not be the end of their career, definitely not, but it would be a significant stain on their career.
Yeah, I think whoever wins this fight, the winner will be the face of boxing. I think that I really appreciate what Ryan did making this fight happen. It's my understanding that he's the one that called on it. He's the one that started chirping extremely loud. And I think the whole boxing world was like, yo, yeah, right, shut up, get out of here. It took him a long time of that kind of barking to really get certain people to recognize, like, hey, maybe we should take a look at this fight happening, So I love the fact that both guys are getting in the ring at this point in their career. I think Ryan is a little hasn't really matured enough yet in terms of ability. I think that his ability, he's still got some more steps to take before he is prime. And then I think that Tank definitely is on the brink of his prime. This fight will probably be the fight that takes him into his prime, because we all have experiences in the ring that we may not be expecting, or adjustments we have to make. Once we handle those adjustments, we grow, So But I digress. I think, it's perfect for both guys. I like the fact that Ryan knows what he wants, and not too many fighters get what they want. He is just loud enough. He's smart enough, and he put it together.
When we start talking about big fights on this level, Tank Davis, time after time, it seems like every 3 to 5 months we get another Tank Davis fight that lasts about 3 years.
Yeah.
Like clockwork.
Yeah.
Scintillating performances. When I spoke to Leonard Ellaby a while back, Leonard said that he feels like Tank is so much further ahead of Ryan Garcia in the big fight department and in overall in the skills department. But let me ask you this. As one of our most heralded fighters in the last 10 years, you, Showtime, Shawn Porter, the rehydration clause, with Tank being what is perceived so far ahead of Ryan skill-wise, why put a rehydration clause on a guy that you are head and shoulders above?
Because I want to stay ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you have the rehydration clause. I mean, if anything, it's intelligent on Tank and his corner's behalf to even try to create that clause. And I think that they know, hey, the longer we can keep him small, the smaller he'll be on fight night. He's going to be big, but the longer we can keep him small, the better for us. So just kind of what you said. Leonard Ellaby said that he's so much further along than Ryan. Why give Ryan any leeway? So and again, you just have to respect Ryan for saying, hey, in order to get this fight made, I'm just gonna have to say okay, not bat an eye, not ask a question, and just move with it. So hopefully, I'm sure he's hoping that it doesn't backfire on him.
Now, with that, Showtime, take me into the mind of the fighter, the mind of the champion, the mind of the guy that's stepping between the ropes. You've made weight. You can't relatively eat and drink like you normally would. How would you approach that as a professional on your own if you were Ryan Garcia? How would you get to the ring in the best shape that you can on fight night?
By the time I got to a world championship title, we had a really great team put in place. We had rehydration clauses and rehydration protocols and all those types of things put in place. And so it was like we knew what we were doing. I think when I fought for the world championship title, we didn't even know that there was going to be. I fought for the IBF. IBF has the 10-pound rehydration clause, more than enough weigh-in, and we didn't know about that till we got there. And so after that weigh-in, that initial weigh-in, it was like eat and drink a little bit, go check your weight. Okay, we cool. We can eat a little bit more. Eat and drink a little bit, check your weight. Okay, we cool. We can eat a little. If you have not had any experience with it, it can be a little draining. It can be a little frustrating. It can wear you down a little bit mentally or emotionally because you're having to do something that, like, fuck, like I've never had to weigh in this many times before, But, Ryan is a professional, and I'm sure that he's got people in place to help him with everything that he's got going on. So I really wouldn't be too concerned with it for Ryan's sake or whatever the case may be. And then I don't think we expect Tank to come into the ring any bigger anyway. So
the penalty about $100,000. Biggest fight of your career. If you're Ryan, do you just say, man, I'm just gonna pay that money and just come in the ring?
No, you don't, because you don't take it lightly because it's doable. Be different if it wasn't doable. If it was a 5-pound rehydration clause, now you're looking at this like, yo, I don't know. 10 pounds is more than doable. If you lose the weight correctly, you don't put on a whole lot of weight quickly. If you lose the weight incorrectly, what I mean by incorrectly is if you take off a lot of weight in a short amount of time, you put all that weight right back on. So when he's saying, hey, I'm already at weight, I'm already there, I'm almost there, then sure enough, you can bet that when it comes time for him to rehydrate and feel his muscles aren't going to go, I need everything and I need to hold everything. His muscles will be used to operating and burning and letting go of what he doesn't need. Science, baby.
Fight night comes around. What's your expectation for the building and the arena in the MGM Grand? A lot of fans, naturally, one of the top black fighters in the world, one of the top Hispanic fighters in the whole entire world. What do you expect the electricity in the arena to be like on the 22nd?
I went to Floyd versus Canelo at the MGM. The fight was over, and I didn't even go with my dad. I went with someone else. And the fight had pretty much just ended. I looked around. I was like, yeah, let's get out of here. It's gonna be some fighting in the crowd. It's gonna be some black versus black. It's gonna be some black versus Mexican. It might even be some Mexican versus Mexican. That's how big this fight is. You got Mexicans thinking that a black man's gonna be the Mexican. You got black people thinking that a Mexican is gonna be the black man. It's grade A right here, baby.
Excellent. Well, there you have it. Showtime, Shawn Porter, Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV. Thank you for your time as always, brother. We'll see you on Fight Night.
You got it, my man. Thank you.